Hello, world, beautiful people out there. Whether you've seen us on YouTube, IG, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it may be, you have now entered the Doe Spot. I'm your host, J Wandoe, and I'm live, even though it's pre recorded. We're live on the set with guests of mine who I've known for several decades. And have been following each other or just catching up with each other through IG. And I came across her bio and her page and was like, wow, she writes. Let me follow. Let me see what's going on here. So I am joined today or this evening by world renowned, I'll just put it out there, best-selling author Juri Hines. And I'm gonna read her bio to you guys. Juri Hines is a proud country girl from Florence, South Carolina, my hometown, who has been captivated by books since childhood. Juri, oh, lost my spot. There we go. Writing became her outlet, a safe space to channel her emotions, passion, and creativity. Through her writing, she releases her innermost feelings from soul to paper, emerging readers on a voyage of emotion and self reflection. Jury made her debut with Spark in the Moment, which you can find on Amazon, in July of 2024 and has no plans on stopping. Her purpose is to craft stories that embrace the essence of romance and the power of passion and the authenticity of intimacy in all its shades. Sounds very similar to the Doe Spot. Sounds like something I'm trying to capture with you all. All right, so this is perfect, because but Doe Spot we deliver messages of empowerment. We really want people to come on here and just feel like they can be safe speaking on what they want to talk about, speaking about things that they may not speak to others about or may not be able to express. So on this podcast, we want to make sure or I want to make sure that as a host, I don't treat my audience as if they're like they don't exist. I want them to want to come here and they want to speak about whatever they're going through. And so, and this is one of my first interviews the the end of the year. So what I'm saying is I want to start putting more of my material out, more motion. My last couple episodes have been solo, so you coming on today is just like really warming my heart. Being someone that's from my city and doing great things. So please, I gave my introduction. So Jury, please, if you want to add something to that, feel free.
Kind of doing the same thing, putting myself out there more. 'Cause there's so much more than writing than actually just writing. Writing is the easy part. So yeah, just putting myself out there more. And I'm
Yeah,
definitely honored. First, I'm glad I ran across you because I saw you in the comments, somebody's post, and I was like, yes.
yeah.
But yeah,
I think it was Lakeith Richardson.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
just I would love to just hear about you as a woman for one, because women don't. I feel y'all get talked about, but just not in a light of positivity. Many women do get bashed for certain things. Even I'm sure in your writing style, you're talking about romance, you immediately think, "Ooh, you're talking about nasty stuff."
yeah.
But I mean, we grown, right? It's adult reading content, real life content. So if you want to add some insight to that, I'd love to hear it. So I'm gonna let you have the floor, and then after that, I'll get into some questions that people may want to know.
You good
So,
with romance? I think I started like a lot of us, and that's where kind of the stigma comes from. Because being in middle school, high school, reading Harry Jerome Dickey books and things like that, I took my mama books and reading them, and you're not really even supposed to be reading them. You're too young to read them and everything like that. So that is where I got my start. And a lot of those books are like they are have a lot of sex in the books. And even when we were in high school, we used to go to Walmart. At some books for like $4.94, and we'll
hmm
go. It'll be me, Whitney, Chantel. We'll go to Walmart, go grab a book. We all get the same book, have our little reading club during lunch, and we were just reading the books together. But my love for books was way before then. And then, like I said, I use it as my outlet to express myself, whether it's through poetry or whether it's through writing my books or writing just stories. Because that's what I would do, just write little short stories. The sex is not even the main focus. The story line is what I want you to understand, or what I want everybody to grasp. The actual love story, and love stories involve sex. That's just life. And so
Yeah.
mine are their love stories, but their life stories as well.
Ooh, I like that. And so when we talk about intimacy,
Mm.
um, or love it at all, who do you feel like was your love? Like, who do you have love for? This could be family. This could be pets. I don't know. You know, what do you, when you define what makes you define love, or what do you define love as?
I define love as just like a deep connection that is, it's like a deep transcendent connection. It's not, it's, you have it for people, you have it for, like I have it for my husband, for my kids, for my mom, for my pets. I really do have a deep, I tell my
Yeah.
kids all the time, my favorite child is my dog. Like,
Right.
but and it
It's there.
grows it, and it kind of just like transforms, and it really is predicated on who I'm showing the love for, because I have a love for reading, I have a love for writing, I have a very deep love for reading and writing, and that's where my deeper connection, or that's where my intimacy really shows, because that's where I show like a deeper version of myself than everybody else sees. And I think that's where a lot of people misunderstand or misconstrue what intimacy is. It's not just what you see on the outside, or me just joking around and laughing. It's a part of
Mm,
it. But when you get into a deeper connection and you're actually able to deep dive into innermost thoughts, innermost feelings, expressing yourself in ways that sometimes you feel like it's too vulnerable, being able to have that level of vulnerability, that's when you're starting to tap into intimacy. And that's why I say intimacy in all its shades. It varies, it's with the person, but also you have to be able to be intimate within yourself. Like you, it's just so many levels it's really levels to it, where people are so surface level, they don't even understand the depth and the magnitude of love and intimacy. They don't even know. Like they don't
they
even know.
don't. They don't. They Most of them the
Yeah.
pronouns, they I believe people are afraid of love because of the how it's associated. You think about falling in love.
Mhm.
Well, when you fall, you usually think about what the pain associated with it. If you're someone like myself who grew up with love being around but not actually feeling the love due to lack of resources or lack of attention, then you start falling into hating or not accepting certain people,
Mhm.
distrust. And I know that's a big word you probably use a lot. You know, trust, communication. When you can't communicate, it's hard to trust people, right? Like you, and I'm just reading like titles of your book. So we have Blake University, Moment of Truth. Look at that,
Mhm.
and then Sparks in the Moment. So when you start writing or have your ideas for writing, I'm pretty sure these aren't your first ever, novels or anything. So when you came up with those titles, you can break them down or put them together. When you came up with those, including your pen name too. I do want to talk about the pen name.
Okay.
When you got to that point, what were your thought? What was your thought process?
Okay. So to get to my titles, we kind of have to go back to how I actually decided to start writing. So, um, I made the decision 2020, 2021 to actually start writing. And but I didn't. I started because I would write poetry, things like that, but I wasn't actually writing. And so then finally I was like, okay, my friend, we were actually on the phone, and I wrote something and I would just have her read it because I worked nights. And at the time, I just always had a notebook and I'll just be writing something. And she asked me, when you going to write your book? And I was like, I'm not. And, just joking around with her, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll look into it. So it was COVID. I took a writing course and I still didn't write. So fast forward to 2024, I challenged myself to do more poetry, to do more spoken word in publicly doing the spoken word, or actually posting it online and things like that. So I did that. I was like, okay, at least do 4 a year. I did 3. And then I got a tattoo. I have a tattoo on my wrist, which is a line from one of my poems. It says, with every inspire, I'm inspired. And a lot of people don't understand what that means, but to inspire is to breathe. Like this, to breathe is breathe in, inspire, expires to breathe out. So I
Ooh,
said, with every
yep.
inspire, I'm inspired. So with every breath, I'm inspired. I got that line written on my arm. And I looked at it after I got it done. I said, well, I got to write something now. And literally, people don't understand the gravity of the words that they speak. Because when I sat down, still in this tattoo shop, because I was with my cousins, so they were getting their tattoos after me. I sat down and I saw a friend of mine. She shared a post where an author, Robbie Renee, was hosting a writer's workshop. And I was like, okay, God, I get it. Like, I hear you, I get it. So I reached
Oh
out.
yeah, he be talking loud too.
Listen, very loud. He's like, bro, what you gonna do? Like, so I reached out. I set up my appointment that very next day. She was telling me this was her first writer's workshop. She's telling me what she was trying to do. I had already read one of her books before, and like we were just vibing on the call. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. And she basically gave us step A through Z on how to write a book, how to promote it. And we were doing that as we were writing, how to market yourself, come up with pen names, just all kinds of things. She did everything with us. And so we started in April, everybody. It was about 6 of us. Yeah, it was like 6 of us. And the theme for the series that we were writing was called Seduction in Red, White, and Blue. So we had to have a title to kind of go along with that theme. And I'm like, I don't know.
Looking around for inspirations from somewhere, like somebody ding, knock, knock, knock.
Yeah, I'm like, I really, I've written, but anything that I've written, they never had a title. So it's like now I have to come up with an actual title. And that was just so hard for me to come up with a title. So the group, like we became a very tight-knit group. So like kind of looking at their titles, I'm the type, I'm like, okay, let me see what you're doing. And I kind of see if I can get some kind of inspiration off of that. So I initially had just In the Moment. This is going to be entitled In the Moment. But then because it was 4th of July theme, that's when one of the girls, she was like, well, how about just add sparks in the moment? And I was like, okay, I like that. Like, so that'll work. So that's literally how that title came about. I had help. And even with
That
my
happens.
pen name, it was paying homage to, this was around the same time. And it actually was at the same time. And I had to come up with a pen name. So I'm like, okay, Hines is my grandmother's maiden name. And I always want to recognize my grandma and everything. She passed away 2018. Like that was my dog, that was my rock, that was my everything right there. And so I got Hines from her. And when I was thinking of the first name, I was like, I knew it had to start with a J because of my real name. And I need to know when somebody's calling me that they're talking to me. And so I didn't want it too far off from my real name. So I was actually going through a list of names. I was like, I want something unique. I want something that's a little different. But still that reflects a 38-year-old, because I'm not about to be out here Jade and all of that. No, I'm too old for that. So
I get it.
I was going
I
through a
do.
list of names and I was just reading with the same friend who I was talking to in 2021. And like when I was like, tell me how these sound to you. So I'm just reading them off. And when I got to Juri, I was like, I really like that name. She was like, yeah, Juri, like jury, like in the court system. She was like jurisdiction. And I was like, yeah, because like diction is writing. So it's like jury's diction. And so like we were just putting it together and it was like, yeah, because with the judicial system, like we were getting deep into like, with the judicial system, it's like a scale and I'm a Libra. So I was like, yeah, that's it. Like, that's it. It couldn't have been a more perfect name than that right there. I'm like, that truly defines me on so many levels. It flowed, and it was me. It felt like me. So now when
It is
somebody
you.
calls me that, like I don't have to question it. I know they're talking to me because it's me. It's my identity.
Very powerful. So it's kind of lost of words for a minute. Even that part you just said, when someone called your name and you brought God up. I mean, he's always in the room. He's always in my somewhere. So when he called your name, when it's something you need to be doing, whether it's podcasting, writing, um, coaching, whatever that may be, if it's not working out, it's likely he doesn't want you there, whatever it is.
Yes.
But as things are clicking, maybe you're getting paid handsomely, maybe you're not.
Mm.
But you're gonna get the glory. He's gonna get the glory first of all, but he's gonna make sure you take care of opportunities. The opportunities are really priceless. So, thank you for sharing that part because I know you're people ask a lot of you. I'm sure people want you to maybe include them in something, or they maybe want credit. I mean, people just want things.
Yeah.
They hear your title, they want to be attached to you. I want to empower. I want to bring some of that inspiration, and then receive it as well. Like I mean, you're haven't read the books themselves, but I see how you operate. I see how people respond to you. So, and then you from the city, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of hitting gems in
Yeah.
Florence, and that's my next step I want to get into. Okay, when you think of the city of Florence, South Carolina, hour from Columbia, other way. Some people say 45 minutes. I say it take at least an hour to get to Myrtle Beach.
If you
That's
plan
that's
like
that's
you're
up for
supposed to, it's gonna take you about an hour.
yeah. You get to Myrtle Beach in 45 minutes. You must have started in Pamlico. There's no way
That's
you
the only
started in
way.
Florence.
That's the only way.
Yeah. so so what does the city mean to you as far as the school systems, the activities going on? We're 80s baby, we late 80s, so we've been around for a while, so we can speak on like the Crest building and things that used to be there before versus what it is now, which I hardly recognize it when I go home.
It's really home. Like talking to my son the other day, and I was talking to somebody about being from Florence, and he was like, "You from Pamlico?" I was like, "My address." Like, yeah, he tried it. He really tried it. But and I told him I was like, "Yeah, I would be in Pamlico. My address has always been Florence. Just where I live in Clawson
The costume,
is
yeah,
like
yeah,
if I lived across the street, I would have went to South Florence. So it's kind of like where I was put me like right there on the edge. Address has always been Florence, and that had literally always been an issue for me because address always been Florence. But I went to school in Pamlico, but I would always be in Florence. Like I would be on both ends.
okay.
So when we moved into Florence, moved to North Florence in 2010. It was like 2010 we moved to Florence. So my kids have pretty much grown up just in Florence.
That's
And
how they do.
yeah, but it's crazy because they go to school in Pamlico.
Mm,
They go to school in Pamlico. But like just being around, my mom has always worked downtown. She worked at the federal building for years. Like she's been working with USDA since I was 3 years old. And that says a lot for somebody to have one job. I'm 39.
oh yeah,
So my mom
oh
was in
yeah,
there a very long time. So I will be downtown. As you spoke about the Crest building. My aunt used to work in Crest and then she used to work in Maxway. And I would be
next way,
down there
yeah.
a lot. And just seeing where it is now, and it's just like gorgeous. It's really gorgeous.
Hmm.
First you're trying to fill out like, okay, what are they doing? Now, how this gonna go? And it really is unrecognizable. I'm not really a people person. I don't really go outside unless I'm like at a book event. But being outside here at home, I don't really do too much. I like to stay home. But even this past weekend, I went downtown for a friend's birthday. We were at Victor's and kind of just walked a little bit. And I was just like, it's really a vibe down here. Sometimes like it really
Yeah.
is. And just to see that it's still growing. And I really just want to find my space in this space. Like, because there's no way my city's gonna grow and I don't grow. There's no
Mm,
way my city's gonna grow and I don't bring some type of recognition to it. Which as we'll get into like with my event in Loving Carolina, it's like you want to be a part of anything that's growing, especially if it's growing and there you see the fruit. Like if you see
yeah.
the fruit, why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? So it's just like it's amazing to see. And it's like I got so many ideas, things I want to do, and but for right now, because I don't want to move too fast on anything, but anybody that I do know is doing anything, I'm definitely gonna support it and all of that. Like I do know I want to get outside a little bit more. That means I got to put clothes on and actually step out the door. But
Yeah,
but
and you got to step too.
yeah, like now
You
when
got
I
to
do
step.
it, I do it. But for the
Yeah,
most
Florence
part,
ain't Florence. Is not,
I gotta put
they gonna talk about you. You come out there looking country.
yeah.
So
They definitely
you got to
will.
step.
That's usually when they see me in Walmart. That's when that comes. The
Mm,
country girl definitely gonna be in Walmart. But anyway else,
yeah,
I fix it up. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see because at one point everything just started to seem like it was just getting dilapidated and just
it
run
did.
down. So I'm seeing that here in Florence, and I really can't wait to see that migrate to Pamlico. Because, yeah.
That's a tough ask, man, and you may have to maybe not be the person to do it, but you may have to really push through your book, through your reading, and through your writing. Gonna have to be it's have to be someone to start seeing the value in
Yeah,
what
that's the
Pamlico,
key.
what's left of Pamlico, because there's a lot of older people there, including my grandmother, which I talked about often. But she's tried with the town council. I remember growing up, her having meetings and with the churches, but she's getting older, and it's tough to convince people, especially when you got the people that are over the are over a lot of things and the controlling the money in the building. So yeah, but I'm glad you have that desire, and I see the same thing. I see, I left at 19, so 2006 I left home for the military, but I would visit pretty much. Sometimes every month, but at least once a year, twice a year, I could see the growth. And looking at it now, 25 going into 2026, like, all right, that's promise. I keep hearing about the violence and everything, but we had some violence growing up. I don't know why, no, don't know why people act like this is like a new thing.
Yeah. I think it's just
Maybe just
more,
because we hear about it.
it's just brought up more because of social media, but it was still
Sure.
there. Like it's definitely
Right.
still there. And I definitely think it may be growing a little bit, but of course, that's how things do. If you don't rectify the issue towards the beginning, then of course it's just going to get a little bit bigger. But of course, social media just brings a bigger audience to it. But like thankfully, I have children who look like their mama and like to stay at home. So, like my
Right.
son, because my 21-year-old, I am so like, first of all, that was my baby. I had him when I was 17. And
Mhm.
so he's like, that's my baby, but that's my little brother. That's my
Right.
dog. And watching him grow up, and it's just like, Lord, please cover my baby. But
Yeah.
he's good. Play basketball. He goes to work. He I don't know what else he does. And I ain't gonna say my child is perfect,
And
but I know what I see is my
he
child
come
is,
home every day,
yeah, like he's
Yeah. No.
home. His friends will come over. Some of his friends will come over and chill for a little bit. But for the most part, comparing to where he could be, even down to my 17-year-old, like my 17-year-old, worse homebody than me. Like he's definitely not.
Not trying to go nowhere.
Yeah,
Like,
he
I'm
likes
here.
to
I'm
stay
home.
home. But now we're getting to the age of, well, we're getting to the point of college. So it's like, okay, my baby's he's trying to leave home. But
Mhm.
what's instilled in them, I feel like they continue that. Like my kids were raised in church. My kids are raised knowing that God is the head of all. You don't have to be perfect, but you still know who you have to lean on. And you still know you have to
And
pray.
absolutely.
You're gonna have to give it to God. You're gonna call your parents. And we are between your parents and the Lord, we're gonna work it out. But
Amen.
yes, it's just kind of, no, you have to take care of home before you can worry about the outside. And I think if more people worry about home, then it'll be better. But also, when you're at home and you're watching it on social media, it's gonna make it worse. I choose not to focus on the negative as much. It's not in the book, then kind of just tune it out a little bit. And I like
That makes sense, and I concur about take care of home. Got to take care of home, and so with that, I'll get in. I'm gonna flip these questions, but 3 reasons. It could be people. It could be just general reasons why you're choosing to write your story, because you do speak well. Not to discount anything else, but I could see you being like in a political space, honestly. Like I can see, yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and say that here. I can see you, even if it's more so just like on a neighborhood level. Like you said, you just obviously you said that about Pamlico. It's something that's sparking sparks.
Mhm.
It's something that's sparking an interest in it. So
Yeah.
3 reasons why you're choosing to write. A lot of people can talk a good game, but they won't put things on paper. But what is it can be 2 reasons, but why you chose to write your story and not just
I
talk about it.
write because I don't like to talk. Actually,
Fair? Okay.
um, I would say growing up, yeah, yeah, I don't like to talk. In this kind of space, like, well, in this space, I really feel like I'm just talking to you, so I'll talk more.
Yeah,
But
that's
in
how I
bigger
wanted it. Yep,
rooms,
exactly what we we're going for.
bigger rooms,
Mhm.
I don't like to. I like to chill and just kind of watch more than I speak. But sometimes I feel like watching is just as important as speaking sometimes, and knowing when to
Sure.
speak. But growing up, I had a granddad. I was with my grandparents a lot, and I had a granddaddy like, hush, like you gotta be quiet. He done been out working in the field and everything all day. So when he get in the house, his main thing he would say is hush that fuss. He ain't really want no nobody. Yeah, like he's
Oh, the trauma.
like he would
The
say that
trauma.
all the time. And my grandmother was already soft spoken. But of course, me being a kid, and it'll be me and my cousin.
Because he always told her to hush too. He been
Like
telling her to hush before you got
that's a
here.
whole nother story.
I know. Yeah, I got a similar one, so I get it.
Yeah, but she just had a softer voice, period.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he was like loud. The opposites definitely attract. He was like, his voice was like a boom. And yeah, like if I wanted, I would say like his voice would be like thunder, her voice would be like a feather. It was really soft. And he was mean, like that was my mean granddaddy. But my grandma was
Yeah.
just like the most gentle soul ever. And so that was his thing. Like when he come in the house, it's just like, all right, let me read, let me do something, because you can't make too much noise. If the house wasn't big at all, if he's watching the news
Oh,
or watching Wheel of
he
Fortune,
he on alert.
like for real, like from 5 o'clock to my bedtime was like 9:30. They got something on TV that they watching. So it's going from the news to what was
Jeopardy.
Inside Edition.
Wheel of Fortune. Yes, y'all. Just
Yeah.
Jeopardy and the
Back to
Wheel
the
of Fortune and
news.
Jeopardy would come on right after that.
Yep.
The news. Yep.
And Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, and then whatever came on, then that's when I kick it in about 8 o'clock, because we had our little 8 o'clock lineups from about 8 to 10. But for the most part, you really didn't have that space around him. With my grandma, of course, I could talk all day, but whenever he came in the house, this is and I kind of adapted that to just kind of be quiet more. And around my friends and everything, I would talk. But then in school, I would get in trouble because I would talk, but I got an attitude when I'm talking a lot of times, because the mouth is very slick and still tends to be sometimes. But yeah, and so kind of as I got older, and I would actually say like once I really got into ministry, not just going to church, but getting into ministry, I just, my husband was the minister, and like I said, how my grandmother and my grandfather, they were opposites. We were kind of those opposites, where I'm the attitude and he's just like the soft spoken one. So a lot of times it's like, you know what? That's literally how I'm looking. Cause whatever.
Like, you said a lot. You said a lot just now too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta catch it. But yeah, a lot of times I just like, you know what? I ain't whatever. Not just be quiet. And that was probably one of the worst things I can do. I shrunk myself a little bit. And but so I decided to write, just to kind of give. That was just my outlet. There's so much more in the story, but that was just my outlet growing up, and then I kind of let it go, to parent and to wife and to do all of those things. And then through a separation, it was like I picked it back up, and I moved away and everything kind of picked it back up. And it's like, I have either I write about what I want, what I experience, what I desire, just kind of what other people tell me that they feel. I would have my close knit friends where we would talk about these things. So it's like now I'm taking kind of like our conversations and our vocal diaries, and I'm just kind of like putting it on paper. But that's just like my main thing. And it's like, one, stories need to be told, because this is an outlet for a lot of people. People don't realize just how big the book community is. Not just the book community, the Black book community is huge. A lot of us don't like to go nowhere. A lot of us are homebodies. And when I started going to book events, that's when I'm really seeing like, okay, it's like we really deep out here. And just wanting to be a part of that and knowing what's in me. And that would be my third one. I know what was in me. I know what was implanted in me a long time ago. And eventually I was going to get to it, but it was like, as long as, how you feel like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. One day, I'm going to do it. Becoming an author was always something that I would say, one day Yeah, like it wasn't
Yeah.
tangible for me because
Started
I didn't
started
really
started
know.
with this little mic.
Yeah,
Yep.
it just wasn't super tangible. I knew one author in my life. It was my cousin's mom, and she wrote a book. She passed away. Her name was Lerma Sweeney, and I remember she wrote a book called Consequences. And I was probably in like middle school when she wrote that book. Yeah, I was in middle school when she wrote that book. Definitely probably shouldn't have been reading it, but it was like good. It was a really good. That was the first time that I was introduced to an author that I knew. So it kind of made it more of a reality to me that this is possible. But to me, she was
Right.
just, it still wasn't something that I felt like I could actually grasp. And then being into the author space or actually going to events and actually connecting with authors online. And that's when it was like, okay, this is time for me to tap in. And I was scared. It was definitely a fearful thing because it's like you're committing to something.
Mm-hmm.
And once you can't take once your hands on that pie, you can't take them off. And so this wasn't just something like I know for me. For some people, it is like a one-time thing. Miss Lerman, I think she only wrote that one book. That ain't it for me. And I knew that. So it was like, you put your hands to the pie, you better be ready.